Okay. Good morning. Welcome to Temple Municipal Court. My name is Judge Person. I don't have faces right now. If you're able to connect to a video, it does help the proceeding go more smoothly for you. I do see a phone number at the bottom of my screen ending in 594, and I believe that is going to be Ms. Haley Reed, or yes, Reed. Ma'am, if you're unable to, could you, I'm trying to unmute you. I'm not able to get you to where I can hear you. There we are. Morning, ma'am. How are you today?
Fine, Your Honor.
Are you Ms. Reed?
I'm Miss Smith.
Miss Smith, I'm sorry. And
Yes, ma'am.
what is your full name, please?
Gail Smith. I don't have
Gail
no
Smith?
middle name. Yes, ma'am. Gail. Ma'am, can I hold my phone? I'm real nervous.
Yes, you can hold your phone, of course.
Okay.
Gayle Smith?
Gail.
And if I could get your date of birth?
3/18/1957. That's 5/7.
Okay, I'm just trying to locate your case because I don't have you on my docket today, but I do take folks who show up. So is it regarding your case? Do you have a case?
Yes, ma'am. The officer said I was driving on the wrong side of the road. I was
Okay.
trying to.
Hold on just a moment, okay? Let me try to find that. And Ms.
Okay.
Ms. Wilburn, I'll be with you shortly, okay?
Okay.
Are you able to engage with audio or video, excuse me?
Ma'am, I got a real cheap government phone, and I've been worried all morning because sometimes it just cuts off. So
Okay.
I really want to get this done where, where I can get stuff cleared up.
Yes, ma'am, I'm Ms. Smith. Just if you'll stop talking for just a moment, I'm going to talk to someone else for a moment, and I don't want to.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to mute you because I'm worried about your phone connection too. Ms.
Okay.
Wilburn, thank you. I'll be right with you, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good morning.
Good morning.
Ms. Smith, I think we have found your case, and it is driving on the wrong side of the road. The costs, if you paid them, and fines total to $69, and that allegation is for November 28th of 2020. It does not appear to me that you've been in a courtroom before. There are options for entering a plea. Now, a plea is really giving your answer to the accusation. That ticket that you get, that's an accusation. And a plea is an answer to that accusation. And there are three options for pleading: guilty, not guilty, and no contest. Now, if you plead guilty, you are admitting the accusation. You're actually saying, I did this. If you plead no contest, you're just moving forward without admitting or denying the offense. And if you plead not guilty, you're contesting it. You're saying, I didn't do this. You're saying, I want a trial. There are a lot of layers to that. It's not just contesting it, it's actually demanding a trial. And we move that in a different direction because we're starting to head toward trial time. If you plead guilty or no contest, we move forward and I start sorting out what your sentence needs to be today. Okay.
Okay, no contest, ma'am.
Okay. So let me look and see, do we have a financial affidavit? So normally fines and costs are, a payable issue. And then we have a lot of options regarding that issue. Some folks have income and they just pay it. Some folks need a payment plan. Some people may be having difficulty, with the ability to pay. And I assess that through an affidavit, a financial affidavit that we ask you to fill out. We don't have one for you on file right now. And I'm trying
They
to.
told me to bring my paperwork back in after I got off the phone with you today.
Okay. All right. That's fine.
Oh,
That'll
boy.
be fine. Are you in the
I do
area?
not have the money, ma'am, to pay it. And if I have to go to jail, I just have to go to jail.
No, ma'am. We're not. You don't need to go to jail. Okay. There are other options. That's why I
Okay,
get. Listen for
I
a
don't want
moment.
it on my, I don't want it on my record though. I ain't had a ticket in a very long time.
Okay. Listen. Take some breathing moments.
Okay.
Okay. Because
Yes, ma'am.
listen for a moment. Because if you don't listen, and
Okay.
you work yourself up, we're not going to get very far. Okay.
Okay.
All
Yes,
right.
ma'am.
Okay. So one thing you need to know is it is the goal of my court, and it is the goal of how I conduct business, that
Yes, ma'am.
we work hard to not send people to jail. Okay.
Okay.
I don't think
Yes.
people should be jailed because they don't have money. That's not appropriate. Okay.
Okay.
That's not a fine. That's not a penalty for an offense. That's a punishment for a human situation. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So sometimes people do go to jail because they say they're going to do something and then they don't do it.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So if I look at your financial situation, and what it looks like to me is that you're going to need, let's say community service. Well, then I order community service instead of payment.
Okay. Ma'am, I am on a walker, but I'm willing to do anything you order me to do.
I understand. And that's another thing I have to look at, is I have to look at your physical situation. So do you see a physician for what's going on with your body? Like, do you have a disability that's documented, or is this
Yes, ma'am. Well, I got liver problem, kidney problem, heart problem, diabetic, take insulin 4 times a day. I got high blood pressure, pancreatitis. I got everything you think of. I got it. So.
Okay. And do you see a doctor?
Yes, ma'am. It's
Okay.
Scott White. It's CDM.
Okay. So what we'll want to do, first of all, there's an option that we have called a deferred disposition. And that type of option is for folks like in your case, who I've never had you in court before. You don't have a long history, and you're wanting to keep it off your record.
Yes, ma'am.
And driving on the wrong side of the road is one of those things that you probably misunderstood a situation and made that mistake. So I'll grant the deferred. And what that means is that you're going to sign a document when you come up here, and it'll say in 120 days, if you don't get any more tickets and you do all the things that are listed in your order, and I'll talk about that in a moment, then I'll dismiss your charge. Okay.
Oh, that'd be wonderful.
Right. So that's how I interpret what you're asking me, is that you would like a deferred disposition, and I'm granting that. I don't have documents proving this yet, but I'm positive that you're going to be indigent, because you told me you're on a government phone. I think you told me you have food stamps. You certainly aren't working because you have health conditions that prevent it. Are you on disability?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I've been on it for about 12 years.
Okay. And do you have food stamps helping?
Yes, ma'am. I get $110 food stamps a month.
Okay. And what's your disability amount, if you could tell me?
I get $783 a month.
Okay. And
I had to buy some. I had to get some of my insulin sticks. I had to get some because they give me, they only I ain't on Medicare, I'm on Medicaid, and I buy. They give me quite a few, but I do take insulin 4 times a day, so I have to buy an extra box every other month.
Okay, and then do you live with family? Are you in housing?
No, ma'am. I am on housing at Bell Oaks Apartments, Belton, Texas.
I know Bell Oaks. Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
And does anybody live with you? Do you share bills?
No, ma'am. Okay. No, ma'am. I'm in a little 1-bedroom efficiency kind of. It's kind of.
And do you have children?
Ma'am, I do, but they don't have to do anything. They got grown and just went their own way. I got 2 daughters.
Okay. So nobody dependent?
No, ma'am.
Okay. And then So, are your bills included in the housing?
No, ma'am. I pay $155 rent every month, and then I pay my light bill.
What does that typically run, your light bill?
My light bill around 60 a month, ma'am. Between 58 and 60. Just I put round it off to 60, but you know, being this cold, I've been using my heat quite a bit, central heat.
Right. And let's see. I'm just filling this form out
Yes, ma'am.
for you so that I can get things documented the way they need to be.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any other income coming in for any reason?
No, ma'am. I just get disability.
Okay. And then do you have a water bill
No, ma'am. I don't have a water bill.
and a phone bill?
No, ma'am. And the phone is free from the government.
You qualified for that.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And it's a simple phone, like just phone calls, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And do you have a car payment or?
No, ma'am. Well, I got a loan on my title because I needed tires for my car, so I got to pay $150 a month back every month.
150. Okay. And then what other bills do you have that I haven't asked you about?
Well, ma'am, I have internet to have TV and stuff.
Right.
You know,
What's
and
that
I only
amount?
pay $5.03 a month for that,
Okay.
which is plenty cheap enough.
Yeah, that's good. Do you have what about your insulin costs?
No, ma'am, I get my insulin through Medicaid, and then they give me so many test strips and needles, because I use the pen kind.
Okay.
But I do have, if I run out after I use them, because or if I was to mess one up, I have to redo it. Then I have to buy the extra by every
Okay.
other month,
Do you think,
but not every month.
So for unpaid medical, do you think that might run you into about $50 a month average?
Every other month, yes, ma'am.
Okay. So
Actually, they're $43 actually.
Okay. All right. So Ms. Smith,
Yes, ma'am.
do you swear or affirm that the information you've provided today is true, correct, and accurate, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Okay. I am declaring you indigent. Now, then I order community service, and I do suspect that you may have difficulty doing the community service. Let me talk to you a little bit about what you can try to do and what you can do if that's not going to work either, okay? So right now, without hearing from your doctors and so forth, you'll owe 14 hours of community service, and I'm going to give you 2 months to do that. The reason I give people a long time is because you've got to find a place and clear it with your doctor. If your doctor says you can't do the community service, then he or she will need to put that in writing and let me review it.
Ma'am,
Okay?
I will do it. I just have to be, if I'm at home, I'm on my walker. If I'm out and about, I'm on my cane, but I lose my back. I got 5 broke toes on the right foot and ain't never going to mend.
Listen,
And then
for just a minute, okay? So
Okay,
what I'm
I'm
telling
sorry.
you is I'm giving you a plan for what to do if, okay? So
Yes, ma'am.
if you find you can't do the community service or you have concerns, talk to your doctor, because I'm no doctor. You need to talk to a doctor about medical stuff. I'm a lawyer, I'm a judge, but I can't give medical advice, okay? And I don't want you to go do something you can't do because you're worried about it, because I can take a doctor's note instead if that doctor legitimately looks at everything and says that you're not going to be able to do it. Okay.
Okay. Ma'am, what do you do
Wait a minute.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm
You're
sorry.
going to have to stop talking. Okay. I know that's a
Okay.
nervous thing, but you've got to, when you're tempted to talk, just take a breath for a moment. Okay.
Okay. Yes,
The
ma'am.
next thing is that when you come up here to do paperwork, you're going to get a list of places from us that where I know they are fine with you calling to do community service. Okay. And
Yes, ma'am.
you can go to any of these places. Now, I don't have a lot of Belton places. Excuse me, I've got something in my eye. But I can tell you that anything on this list will work. Also, and it says this, what I'm about to tell you is written down, okay? And what it tells you at the bottom, and I know you can't see it, but there are other people listening. At the bottom, it will tell you that if you can't find a place on this list, then any nonprofit will work. So a church, a nursing home, a school, anything that is a nonprofit under Texas law will qualify. Do you have a church where you attend?
Ma'am, when I'm able, I go to the Pentecostal church in Belton.
Well, they might need some help, so you can see if your pastor has, but it has to be someone authorized by that place to sign.
Yes, ma'am.
So probably your pastor, okay? Not just a friend there, but someone in the office.
Yes, ma'am.
But the reason for that is we're going to call and verify. You'll
Yes,
turn in
ma'am.
your hours. You'll document your hours. We're going to have a document that you keep track. It's like a work time sheet. And you log in and out like you do at a job. And the supervisor will sign and initial the hours and sign off. And then we call them and verify it. So just make sure it's a nonprofit and make sure that whoever's in charge of that entity knows you're there and knows what you're doing, because they have a tax consequence. And, only the person who is authorized can sign for that reason. Okay.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now that's going to be at the back of your packet. And then on the very top, there'll be a document for you to sign, and it's called a deferred disposition. And it's our agreement for that dismissal. Okay. So it will say that I need your hours or your doctor note by February 11th. It'll be in writing. And I'll need it here at the court. You'll have to bring it over or fax it or email it to us. It'll say that, so if you can't get the hours done, then you need to get up here and talk to someone at the front or call us, or talk to your doctor first and get that doctor note. Okay. And then it will say, don't get any more tickets during this time. Keep your address current the whole time. Okay. And
yes, ma'am.
And then don't get arrested. And then it says, that if you complete this, then I'll dismiss the charge.
Yes, ma'am.
Does that make sense?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. As a person with a disability, I also need you to know that I don't expect that you would work more than 2 to 4 hours per week if you do work. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
And then you'll sign the deferred saying, yes, I agree. I want that dismissal. You'll then sign a waiver, because if you're injured doing that work, they don't have coverage. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
And then you'll have a packet to document your hours. And if you read it, it will explain itself. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Can you be up here today?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Hopefully we are hoping we can get you to come in before, say, noon.
Yes, ma'am. I'll come right in.
Okay. You won't need to be here for more than 10 minutes. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
It'll be quick. And just when you get here, you call, there'll be a number on the door. Just call and let them know that you have an appointment to sign your documents from court this morning. And they will do a COVID questionnaire and ask that you wear a face covering, and they'll take your temperature, and then they'll stop bothering you, and you'll come sit down, do your paperwork, and you'll get copies of everything, and you'll be free to go. Okay?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, the paperwork I got right here with me, they told me to bring it back today. But
bring all that with you, but you'll have more paperwork today, because we're doing that order that we just talked about.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
We're going to finish everything today.
Okay. I'll be right in when you tell me.
Okay. And then the only thing you'll have to do at that point will be just to either get those hours in or get that doctor note in. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Right. If you wind up with questions, you can always call and talk to a clerk at the front desk.
Okay.
And if you wind up with questions that they can't answer, they're trained to know when to put you back into a meeting with me so we can talk about it. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. The paper I got here, it says judge's signature. So I just give it to the clerks at the desk, right?
That's right.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Ma'am.
Do you have
Thank
any
you, ma'am.
questions?
No, ma'am. Thank you very
Okay.
much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yes. Bye-bye.
Hi, Miss Wilburn. Thank you for your patience. How are you this morning?
Hello. Good morning. Okay.
Yes, okay. Well, I kind of reviewed things beforehand, and there is a theft charge. And if you paid it, it's $296. I know
Okay.
you've had cases before, but I still wanted to remind you the options for pleading are guilty, not guilty, and no contest. How are you pleading?
This is no contest.
Okay. You're similarly situated in terms of bills and income as the woman prior, and you did ask for a payment plan. I'm actually able
This is
to approve community service instead. I'm going to let you tell me what would work better for you, but I am able to order community service.
okay. Well, just like her, I'm on a lot of insulin. I take syringe insulin and the pen needle,
Right.
2,000 milligrams of metformin and glipizide. So mine's is a little kind of worse than hers because I
Well,
take
and
I
you have
take
different,
super.
y'all are different people.
Huh?
So y'all are different
Yeah.
people, but what I'll tell you is
So
that so what would you like to do? Would you like me to go ahead and
I'd
order
like to I like to pay it because I have 3 different arthritis, and two of them is from my diabetes.
Okay.
And then I
Um,
got uncontrolled blood sugar that's been going on for 2 months. It's over 200 every day, and
wow.
they're trying to get it back regulated because my A1C is an 8.2.
Let me see if she wants to talk to her doctor. Ma'am, you're actively seeing a doctor, right?
Yes, ma'am. A CDM.
Do you want to see? I can order community service and let you talk to your doctor and see if he or she will, at this time, especially given that you're in a crisis, might say that you need to have me waive it medically. I can waive
Uh,
community service if you can't do it. So if your doctor tells me in writing that you can't do the things that we're ordering you to do, then he or she will give you a note and you bring it
okay.
back to me by your due date. Because
Okay.
I'm looking at your financial situation and I can see that you struggle. And I don't want to
But I
order
don't struggle. I won't struggle when it comes to paying that.
Right, I understand. Well, we have a few options. One would be to order community service and you talk to your doctor and see if that can be waived. And
Mm,
I think we should try that first. If that
okay.
doesn't work, if your doctor says, no, you're good to do it, then what I would want to do is you proposed $40. I would drop it to 20 and I would do a reduction of the fine. Okay.
You talking about after I go to my doctor?
Yeah, let's try the doctor note first.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So the way that that works mechanically, like how we do that technically, is I say community service is due in 60 days or bring me a doctor note. And you either bring me the hours or the doctor note on the due date, which is going to be in February on the 11th. If neither of those happens, you can't get the hours done and your doctor disagreed, then we just do another meeting like this one and we talk about, well, maybe we need to do payment and let me reduce it and do a smaller amount.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, because the last thing I want is for you to wind up having this go to warrant. That's not what I'm trying to do.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
I'm
I
trying
know.
to get a consequence, and consequences can have limits when money is the penalty and people don't have money and they have a medical condition.
Hmm.
I really appreciate your attitude about it, and I appreciate you showing up on time. Stay on time, okay? Because being late is what gets the warrant, okay?
Hmm.
Blowing it off gets the warrant, and you're not doing that. You have a good history with us with staying up with things and taking care of business, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
So I don't feel really like, I am concerned about this is the third theft that's happened for you.
Oh, yeah. But it's gonna be the last.
Well, I hope so. I just really, I don't know what's going on. Is it a financial
Um,
concern?
I see. To be honest with you, this time I kind of like was with the wrong person and they wrong influences. And I'm old. I'm getting older. I'm 48,
Right.
and I have a lot of illnesses. So I've kind of like X that person off my list because, I'm real open, especially with the officers.
Yeah,
And, they talk to me, I cry, and, I express myself. And like they told me, you need to stay away from that person, because you're
yeah,
being influenced the wrong way.
absolutely. And, you are a grown up. So that's something that, like you said, you just are honest and you take responsibility. But
Yes, but taking responsibility don't make it right, though.
no, it doesn't. It doesn't erase it. You're right. But I do think taking steps to not be back here again for this would be good because so, you know, like disassociating from somebody who's a bad influence is a way to be responsible.
Yes, ma'am.
And just really working at it, it can be difficult. Were you with this person before?
No,
Okay.
no.
All
First
right.
time I was on a lot of medicine, and I wasn't
Okay.
aware of what I was doing.
Right.
And I
I
think
was
the
kind of
second time I
wondering.
was guilty, though.
I was kind of
I
wondering
still
if
take a whole bunch of medicine at night, but I have to. I have to stay on it.
yeah, it sounds like you're in a difficult predicament. Do you have family?
Unfortunately, I lost my parents within 4 months of each other. Uh, my mom been gone 2 years, and in February, my daddy been gone 2 years. So it's just me and my little brother, and he's disabled too, so I have to take care of him. Matter of fact, he had two seizures in the middle of the night, and I had to call the paramedics.
Okay, how old is he?
He is 45, but he's been disabled since he was young, and my father was the one that was basically taking care of him, and I was helping. I've been helping since I was young. And now that they're gone, somebody has to help take care of them. So, I it's got to be me. And so I can't afford to be going to jail and leaving him out here. So,
I agree. I agree.
uh,
So I'm going to order 14 hours of community service due February 11th, 2021. And you talk to your doctor. Just get when you come by to sign the paperwork, can you do that today?
can I come sign the paperwork today? Uh, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
It'll be in the afternoon, though.
Okay. How about no later than 4?
Okay, yes, ma'am.
Okay. And it'll only take about 10 minutes. Okay.
Okay, that's fine.
And you'll pick everything up. And if you have questions, you can ask a clerk. But what you can do is take the list that I have for you over to your doctor and let that doctor review that list and let you know what he or she would be okay with. Okay. Some things are helpful, like in some instances, you can get help with food, you can get help for services. If you and your
Oh, yes,
brother,
ma'am.
right, if you and your brother volunteer for anything, I can count those hours. So, there might be something it might surprise you and it might help connect you to some things that would help you.
Oh, yes, ma'am. I
Yeah.
get your point.
Because I noted the items are things that maybe you need some help getting.
Yes, ma'am.
So no more than 2 to 4 hours a week because you're disabled, okay?
Yes,
And
ma'am.
your timesheet, it's going to kind of look like this. And at the bottom,
Okay.
you'll see there's a way to log your hours in and out, and you'll have a supervisor initial, and you'll
Mhm.
initial. And that before you turn it in, you'll sign and they'll sign. And up at the top is where you tell me where y'all went or where you went.
Mhm. Okay.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
And if you get that done, then we just are clear. And if you don't, bring me a doctor's note. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do you have any questions?
Oh, no, ma'am. Thank you for
So,
understanding.
right. So I do enter a conviction. And now the sentence is community service. Talk to your doctor before you get started. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Do you need anything answered right now?
No, ma'am. Happy Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas and stay safe. Stay well. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you. Ms. Wilburn is still somehow here.